Good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. I have to question you as a person for finding this video. I don't know who's on my channel and who's watching these kind of videos, but welcome if you are checking them out. If you've seen some of the other ones, you know, one of the more popular ones I have is the 70D versus 7D Mark II video. And so out of that idea came the idea to review gear that people might be using for videography, for production, for any of those kind of things. So myself and a buddy of mine, Edgar, over at EAP Production, put our heads together and came out with a channel called Just Reviews. It's going live in a couple hours, and I just wanted to put this little promo on the beginning of this review, which you might watch here in a few seconds, and you can kind of review what the channel is about, the review of the review. So this is it. This is my new channel, Just Reviews with EAP Production, and I hope you enjoy it. Cheers, and talk to you guys soon. Welcome back to Just Reviews. I have a very exciting video for you today, something I've been looking forward to doing for quite some time, and that's comparing the 5D Mark III to the 70D. Some people might ask, why would you do such a thing? Well, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to figure out what the right camera is for them. They might be just getting into photography or videography, they might be wanting to start a YouTube channel, or just take great pictures and video. And to do that, you need a DSLR camera. For both video and for photos. So we're going to go over both of these and help you decide what might be the right camera for you. So we're going to go down a couple quick questions, and then we're going to get into a couple different categories to help compare them side by side. So right off the bat, I want to ask you one question. What is the difference between crop sensor and a full frame camera? If you don't know the answer to that question, you can go ahead and assume that the 70D is going to be a better choice for you. This is a crop sensor camera, much less expensive than a full frame camera like the 5D Mark III. So that's the first question. The second question I have for you is, are you getting paid for your work? Are you getting paid for your photos? Are you getting paid for your video? And are you getting paid a substantial amount of money? If the answer to that question is no, then you can go ahead and assume again that the 70D, or its smaller brother, the 60D, or its younger brother than that, the T5i, the T3i and down, is a better camera for you, for budget and for what you're trying to achieve. Now, if you're getting paid for your work, or you've been doing photography for a certain time, you know the difference between crop sensor and full frame, and you want to make an investment in your future and the future of your photography, that might be the 5D Mark III for you. So we're going to go through them, write down the list and cover a couple categories, and we're going to do a full review on the 5D and the 7D coming up very soon. So the first category is quality of the material that you're going to capture. Right off the bat, hands down, 5D Mark III is going to win all day, every day. It's a full frame camera. It's superior in every way for the material that it's capturing over a 70D or any of the other cameras, Nikon, any other crop sensor camera. That's just because you're capturing more information, more detail. It has a bigger sensor to capture that information. It uses different lenses to capture more information. So you're just going to get superior detail. That's it. Next is build quality. So we're going to put these side by side and do a comparison of the two so you can see a few of the differences that you might notice. So right off the bat, as we put them side by side, you'll notice they're very, very similar, even though they're drastically different inside. Size by size, they're going to go, 5D's a little bit bigger and a little bit heavier than the 70D and other crop sensor cameras. The lenses are completely irrelevant, really. This is an L series lens, this is an STM lens, so don't judge the camera on the lenses. So that's your basic overview just from looking at the camera. Now we're going to get into a specific few areas that you might want to pay attention to, things you might want to look at. It might help you consider for you what the best decision is. As we go around the camera, you notice over here you have your inputs and your outputs, your mic inputs, your audio and your video outputs. The 70D and the 60D and the T5i and the T3i do not have a headphone port. You're not going to be able to monitor audio from your camera, so know that going in. If you're going to be shooting video, that's something you're going to want to think about. The 5D does have a mic input and audio output, so you can monitor your output on the 5D Mark III. Going to the back of the camera, the biggest difference you're going to notice here on the back of the camera is the articulating screen on the 70D and the fixed screen on the 5D. 70D is a newer camera in terms of age. It's a younger camera. It's come out more recently than the 5D Mark III, and they were able to put new innovative technology that wasn't available when this came out into this camera. And for other reasons, it has things like the articulating screen. For the screen, better weatherproofing on the 5D, so no moisture or anything else like that, dirt and dust can get into the camera. This deteriorates the ability to weatherproof camera, but it gives you more functionality, and we'll get to more of the function. This is also a touch screen for those people out there that like smartphones and like to be able to swipe through pictures, zoom in and zoom out with your with your fingers. You can do that on the 70D. You cannot do that with the 5D Mark III. Little bit different layout on the buttons, but all generally the same buttons. You have your dial here. 5D Mark III is much bigger. The 70D and the other ones also have a small dial, make it a little bit more difficult to operate. The buttons are better build quality on the 5D. The buttons on the 70D are a little small, a little wonky. But again, that's because the components that go into this are better components and therefore more expensive. You get what you pay for. So switching it over to this side, this is going to be your data storage area. 70D uses one SD card. 5D also uses SD card, but also has another card backup that you can utilize if you want. So that's in there. And then front of the machine, you can't really compare them like this. Different lenses make them look different, but they're very similar on there. And then if we just go ahead and flip them up to the top, again, very similar, a little bit larger of a LCD display screen on the 5D Mark III, but again, very similar. Build quality is superior on the 5D Mark III. So again, in that column, 5D Mark III wins. Getting into the features, what can you do with this? What can you do with this camera? Either one, going in one way or the other. The 5D Mark III is going to give you a professional image every single time, but because of its build and because of its design, it is limited by what you can achieve, because compared to the 70D with the articulating screen, you can do amazing things. You can be driving, and me personally, I drove a 6-speed stick shift Jeep Wrangler down the 405 freeway with the 70D on my dashboard with the LCD screen out, so I was picking my focal points on the LCD screen while shifting in traffic, capturing an image of my friend riding a motorcycle, and being able to change all that different information right on the camera, right on the screen while I was driving with no help. Right there at that moment sold me on the 70D as one of the best DSLR cameras on the market, whether it's full frame or not, because of its functionality, because of the things that you can achieve with it, and because it's at the top end of the crop sensor camera field as far as I'm concerned. So in functionality, I'm going to give it to the 70D, and I know that's going to upset a lot of people, but you can achieve more. You can get different shots with just the camera and just the lens without a monitor, follow focus, or any of those different kinds of things. The STM features that are found in the 70D are really, really nice to have, and a lot of people, a real videographer would never use autofocus. Well, if you understand your blocking and you understand your characters and you understand the set and you know exactly what's going to happen, choosing those focal points at that speed with that accuracy, it gives the independent professional a level of achievement that you can't match on any other set. So going to give it to that. Next is the big one, and this breaks it down for everybody, is the price. You know, when it hits the wallet, how much do each one of these cameras cost? The 5D Mark III, let's start there with just this piece. The body is no cheaper anywhere on the internet right now than $2,400. So this section, $2,400. This section is over $1,000 minimum. This is an L series lens without image stabilization, and this is about $1,100, I think, off the top of my head. The image stabilization, the L series 2 USM, is upwards of $2,500. So for this camera alone right here, you're looking at a base price of $3,500, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, depending on where you get it, if it's gray market or if you buy it in the United States. A lot of money. A lot of money going into this one. The 70D, you can get this section for about $600, $700, maybe a little bit more. You can get this section by itself. This is an 18-135 STM lens. It's sold for about $500 to $600. Together in this package, you can get this camera, I think, with a printer for $1,000. So it's, you know, for a lot of people out there that don't have the budget that most people do, don't have the budget that most people don't, the 70D is a great choice. If most of your information is going on YouTube, you're sharing your Facebook pictures with your friends, you're not getting paid for your work, you do not need a full frame camera. You can achieve everything you want to achieve with a crop sensor camera, and you're going to be very happy. And this one, especially the 70D, for photo and video. Just want you to know that. If you're a professional, you've been doing it for a few years, you know the difference in techniques between the cameras, The 5D Mark III is for professionals. If you're getting paid for your work, go with the 5D. So I hope this review is helpful for you. If you have any questions, please leave it below. We'd be happy to answer that question for you. If you enjoyed the video, give us that thumbs up. We really appreciate it. It does make a difference. Thanks for stopping by. Just Reviews.